Test. Test, test. T-minus 5 minutes. Alright, thanks. Bring that. Go ahead and put that over there. No. Alright, thanks, bro. Yeah, you can turn on the lights over there. Did you check if it works? Check it out. Okay, here we go. For the good times. Wow, that was splendid. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for the Geezy Truth News band, as always, coming up with spectacular music and musicals. That's great. Well, thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a huge one for you today. This is something else. Let me tell you, this is something else, okay, ladies and gentlemen? Something's going on. There's a lot of things since last week I've since the last time I've talked to you guys last week. Huge news. Huge news. I mean, it's just unbelievable what's going on right now. So, I have been quoted and included on many different kinds of top secrets going on since of last week. So I got a whole lot of, I got a smorgasbord of information for everybody here today. So this is going to be a very important show. Stay tuned, and callers call in, please. Of course, the phone lines should be open. Go ahead and call in and do whatever, you know, speak your mind, ask any questions, what you got. And, so yeah, so I don't even know where to begin. I mean, we have a lot of things. If you've been paying attention, who-wee. There's a lot of things going on right now. It's like, where do we even start? We do have a special announcement coming up. We have some credentials coming up. We got a lot of things going on and lots of information to be leaked out. We're getting queued in by Q over here. And we're getting a lot of updates from all over the board, from all over the information. So we got to figure things out here. But first and foremost, I want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This is our first show of 2018. This is our first, you know, everybody, welcome to 2018. This is going to be phenomenal over here. So, welcome to 2018. I hear this year is going to be fantastic. So, just keep your belt buckled over there and sit tight. Got a lot of things going on. So, what we got going on here is a lot of good news. So here's we're gonna start this. So everybody, thank you very much, and welcome to Geezy Truth News. It is January 5th, 2018. That is just phenomenal, everybody. I hope you had a great time, a great spectacular spectacle of the fireworks and everybody shooting. You know, the amazing artwork going on and all the crazy things going. I heard of a lot of salutes and a lot of fireworks, and everybody's happy. Seems like it's good. Keep that grin up. Stay tuned. Keep up with that positivity. Keep up with that optimism, because, ladies and gentlemen, I got great news. We are winning. The good guys are winning. So, I don't even know where to begin, but here's where we're going to go. First of all, first and foremost, and I appreciate all the information that's going in through my relay right now. There's a lot of things, you know, a lot of information seeking through, and, you know, it's good. It's finally to see that people are posting and people are spreading the word. That's the whole bippity-bop. That's what we got to do. So, before we get to the nitty and gritty, I first and foremost want to say that we need to get off YouTube. Unfortunately, one of my peers I just saw, Michael Rivero, is unfortunately, and I'll have to speak with him later about that, is why did he switch over to YouTube. I'm trying to get off of YouTube. You know, I know there's problems, but I know there's options. So, I heard, you know, one of my friends told me about, one of my associates the other day was communicating with me about the alternative source of Gab, and taking a look at that. So we may be moving this show over to Gab, just as an update and a warning, because, ladies and gentlemen, we know what the dealio bob is here. We know the YouTubes, the Googles, the Twitters, all this muckety muck. I don't know what else is, you know, the Reddits or something. There's got to be, you got to be on your tiptoes, because they're blocking everybody. The great thing about Donny Boy and the Twitter thing is, and I'm sure I mentioned it last show, is that we do have indeed no restrictions for Donny Boy talking about because they use Donny Boy's tweets as official government, you know, confirmations. I mean, this is how they see it as a professional, and that's how they take it. So that's why Twitter, I think they did once. They tried to do some banning or something, but then it didn't work out, because obviously, you know, we all know what would happen. I mean, Twitter would just tank if they would, because Donny Boy uses it every day. So, great news, great things. Let's see. Donny Boy, speaking of Twitter and Donny Boy, let's talk about that. Things are doing good in that department. He's kicking ass, everybody. We got great news and great updates about all of this. Everything, the good guys are winning. The pedo gate is shutting down. All these guys are getting all indicted. Everybody's getting caught. Just as I suspected, Mueller has been on our side this whole entire time. It's very, very common in this kind of practice to show hostile activity towards towards certain parties, and you have to play, it's chess. You're gonna just barge in through the castle. You got to be smart. You got to play like a grand chess player, and so that's how you see it as. They look at it as like it's not as like a hostile activity, but then they end up working helping each other out. So, now that that's out of the way, let's get on through the main news. Within this past week, lots of things has happened. And we're just going to go over it all. And again, about the YouTubes and the Googles and all this, is complete garbage. This is very dangerous. And they're showing very hostile activity towards everybody with the polygonal technology and all they're doing with the polytechnical stuff of them getting rid of the information that you want. We all know this is very, very forthcoming knowledge. We've known about this for a while. But, you type something in and you look for it and you can't find it because that's how it works. They don't want you to find certain articles. And so I'm trying to find sources here. I got plenty of sources for you guys. But as I said, when you try to look for certain, it's not there. It's not there. So this is the way it works. So, right off the bat, the biggest thing, and I'd say one of the biggest victories, and this became a domino effect of what happened afterwards. December 21st, Donald Trump, Donnie Boy, our president, did a very important executive order on December 21st announcing very important information and very critical information in times of what's currently working right now. I mean, this is very... It correlates with the first executive order that he did. And I'm sure I mentioned this in the earlier show, but just in general, should be common sense that the first executive order that Donnie Boy did was to combat the pedo gate. It was through a smart... You have to be smart with your words. So you don't say just, that we're going to get rid of all the pedophiles. But it comes close to it. You read his first executive order, look it up. His very first executive order. He combats pedogate. And that's the thing. And so now, he did a great job within the first year. We just keep rooting. We'll talk about the tweets later. But things are doing great. So, the December 21st executive order. It's kind of long, so I'm not going to, read the whole thing. But please take a look at it if you haven't. And let me see if I can bring it up over here. It's, it's some big deal stuff. And of course nobody's talking about it because that's, again, ladies and gentlemen, that's how it works. This ain't no Tom and Jerry show. They ain't going to do, with CNN and all the fake news where they're not going to talk about, princess, ballerina, whoever won the, I don't even know, the Bippity Bop Award. Or, they're always talking about some stupid stuff that's not important. Well, here's what's actually happened. December 21st, Donnie Boy wrote an executive order, and here's the gist of it. And I quote, I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, find that the prevalence and severity of human rights abuse and corruption that have their source, in whole or in substantial part, outside the United States, such as those committed or directed by persons listed in the annex to this order, have reached such scope and gravity that they threaten the stability of international political and economic systems. And it goes on and it talks about human rights abuse and the corruption and just very impactful stuff. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, you know what's going on. You have to play by the rules. But hey, people, anybody who doubted Donnie Boy, this is your confirmation. Especially, and again, and by the way, here, let me post this up so people can see. And by the way, on top of that, Sneezy, Let me tell you something a little about that. Huge deal. You can't find it. It's been announced, but on Google, I got to get rid of Google. There's another one. One of my associates was also recommending me a different browser. You know, I'm not very technical, so I don't know the technicality behind the technology of the software and hardware behind this computer equipment. But I do know that there's got to be other options. I mean, people say, yeah, they gotta hold on it. I understand that they got the whole thing, but I mean, you know. So here we go. So there's that. And so what happened 3 days after this? Believe this. We're about to drop a bomb here. And again, the fake media is not reporting any of this. Nobody's talking about any of this. Thankfully, we have independent news stations, TV shows. We got the whatreallyhappened.com. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened with James Tracy. I was trying to check him out the other day. Jim Fetzer, I got to keep in touch with them, see how he's doing. Everybody is doing fantastic, and people are winning. So you got to look into all this stuff. And so what it is that 500 CEOs, 3 days after this executive order, resign. Practically all on the same day. Most of them, you look at the list, is all CEOs, a few CFLs, a few CFOs, but for the most of them, all CEOs. And we're talking the hierarchy, the very top of the chain. We're talking Google itself. Eric Schmidt, the CEO of Google, resigned with nobody to back him up. It's unheard of. This doesn't happen. Usually when when you're about to retire or resign, you have a person to back you up, and there's this guy, and it's very formal and very professional. Here, nada. Zilch, zill, nothing, zero, nothing at all. So Eric Schmidt resigns of Google and 499 others of CEO companies. It's a huge deal. They're doing some kind of deal behind the scenes to not get, hopefully, one of my number one, if not my number one, supportive project that is obviously the Truth and Reconciliation Project. That is the most wonderful thing I ever heard of when I first found out about it, and I agree with that. That's the best way to handle this situation. You know, obviously, like JFK quoted, with the, without the revolution, those that don't give peaceful revolution will inevitably give a violent revolution. And so that's what that is. The Truth and Reconciliation Project is just another layer, and I might add a huge layer. I truly support, and I'm fully supportive of this project. It's a great thing, the Truth and Reconciliation Project. And so if they're dealing with that type of activity, fantastic. If they're doing some other kind of under the table deal, obviously we're not going to know. Maybe Q will cue us in, who knows. But on that note, and I've been meaning to say this for a while, and hopefully people already know, and hopefully this is huge news, is that people need to know about the unacknowledged. It just came out it's been like, not just came out, but it's been a while, and there's an update. It's like 2-3 years old. I mean, technically now. If not, maybe it might be actually newer than I think, but it's a huge deal. It came out unacknowledged by Dr. Stephen Greer. This is a huge thing. That's how it goes. So, that's what's going on. So, we got the executive order. That's fantastic. Donnie Boy's kicking ass. Let's talk about the tweet. The tweets, he's finally showing, and he's been doing good. But you gotta show some cojones. I'm sorry. I mean, the weaklings, look, there's a lot of weaklings. It shows a lot of weakness. It's not good. This is very good, the tweets that he said. The two tweets that I liked. All of his tweets are fantastic. But 2 tweets. And by the way, we have an update on net neutrality too. We'll update you on that as well, because actually I have great updates on that. My suspicions are confirmed that it's actually a great thing. like I was saying last time. And so, anyway, the first tweet was, it was the button tweet. That was fantastic. The button tweet, that's what you gotta do. Look, this, I'm sorry, and I hate to confirm everybody's suspicions, but yes, we are going to war with North Korea. This is, even I was talking to some of my military friends earlier today, and even they didn't even know about it. So, that's, I hate to be the one to break the news, but sorry, that's the way it goes. We're going to have to do this. And because there's a lot of importance going on here. There's a lot of cabal. One of their head HQs. One of their HQs is in North Korea. So this is actually working out really well. And, of course there's going to be opposing force and all this. There's always going to be protesters. This is not surprising. But the button. And I'm not pro-war, but at the same time, look, we are the best country in the world, are we not? We got to do our things. This is how it works. So, the tweet of the button thing, of him saying that he's got a bigger button and that it works, to Kim Jong-un, is great. It was a fantastic quote. I'm glad everybody went ape shit about it, and nobody is appreciating. A lot of people are complaining. That's great. The more haters, the better. I don't even believe any of it. That is a lot. Most people I've met, truthfully, they explain that really they just get on the bandwagon. They don't want to feel ostracized. They say, oh yeah, he's bad. I don't like him because this is the bandwagon, and that I'm gonna, I don't want to be ostracized. So that's how it is. So, and the second quote, the tweet, is fantastic because actually, unfortunately, correspondent Mr. Tattersall is not available on tonight's show. However, he's had some interesting, I've been reading his notes, and he's had some very interesting perspectives on the whole matter. And I actually read an exact quote what correspondent Mr. Tattersall was saying that reflects what Donny Boy was saying. And the tweet that I'm talking about, that Donny Boy said, is right after these few commercials. So we will be right back. Thank you very much.
Hi, this is Sensitive Sammy's 5-star restaurant bistro. We make meals that your mom can't even make. So call us at 253-486-7589. That's 253-486-7589. Thank you.
Hey, dude, this is JM Gems Comedy Club. Call us, and if you're funny, maybe we'll get you a gig. 425-949-9572. You funny or not? Hey, bro. This is Jibble Pooperson's pot shop. If you want to try to get some dank, give us a ring. 425-239-2013. Far out, dude. Alright, well, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for tuning back in. This is Geezy Truth News at 6 o'clock sharp Pacific time. Thank you very much. So anyway, where were we at? Well, what else can I tell you? So the second tweet, did we finish up on that or what? The second tweet is, oh yeah, so yeah, I actually never finished that subject. So let me tell you that what happened was that he said that the most corrupt media awards go to, and I'll be tuning this in at 5 o'clock sharp on Monday, so that's going to be next Monday, and it's a great tweet. You know, you gotta, truth through comedy, people. Truth through comedy. And that's exactly what I want in a president. I want strength, I want intelligence, and I want comedy. And that's, you know, truth through comedy. That's the way to do it. And that's how many people have triumphed, and that's the way to do it. So another key element. So all of this is great. We got a strong leader. Things are working out. Things are winning. It's fantastic. So here's our next steps. So we were talking about the 500 resigned CEOs. That's wonderful news. And that's crazy how Eric Schmidt retired. It's huge news. You can't even find it. I tried to find it on the internet. And speaking of which, it took me, excuse me, it took me a while to find it. But I actually did end up finding it. If you type it in right now, it won't tell you. You have to dig deep. And deep, you gotta go. And it's a tough situation here, folks. So let me see what I can do here. So there you go. So I believe that's that. Let's see. Where's my... oh yeah, speaking of which, my audio engineers and my technical engineers are telling me that there may be some problems with the show. Maybe some technical difficulties. So thank you very much for the update on that. And looks like my audio engineers are also saying that the phone lines may also be down. So that may be why I'm not getting any phone calls. So alright, well, it looks like our team is working very hard over there to work on all that. So thank you very much for that. And so there we have it. There we have it. We have another source right here. Because I ain't going to leave you sourceless. That ain't right. So, well, so this is how it goes. So we have more updates. So here's the more updates. So here's more. The CEO's resigning. We talked about that. That's a huge deal. You got to do your research, but it's very hard to find. And I'm doing Google searches and stuff. I got to get away from that platform. What people were telling me, one of my associates was telling me to get into some kind of new like Edge or something like that. I'm not really sure. Got to look into that. And please, all my viewers and all my fans and everybody, we got to all work together. Research, technology. You know, it's a crazy world out there. So let's figure things out. So, here's another huge thing that they're not reporting on. This is big time news, and they're not even reporting this or nothing. So here's what's going on here, is that just recently, that we have about, 13, 15 aircraft carriers or something like that. Every single one of them, has been recalled, has been retreated back to base. All of them at the same time. It's never happened in history. We've had like half or a decent amount, but we never had all of our aircraft carriers. And that is meaning something. And here's the new update on that, actually, coming in right now. Excuse me. Is that when they're getting recalled, it looks like they're getting back to the base. They're getting retrofitted with new equipment. So your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea. I mean, you could say new missile ballistic systems or something like that, but I mean, who knows? I mean, it can be anything. It could be new EMP, something that would make sense. Like, what can they do to outfit their aircraft carriers to? But it's an interesting thing. You gotta be updated 24/7. So that's what that is. So recently, this is the first time in history that this has actually happened. Is that all of our aircraft carriers all at the same time? Pay attention to that. All of our aircraft carriers at the same time return to base to be retrofitted with some new equipment to be deployed back in the waters, back in the oceans. So this is great. This is good news. We'll see how all this goes, but you gotta keep a 10-foot pole. Gotta be smart. Gotta look at it as an interesting thing. You can't be positive or negative about this. It's always good, but again, remember the military-industrial complex. Look at the F-18s or whatever they're called. Look at the brand new jets that we got. All these problems and millions of dollars wasted. Millions and millions of dollars just squandered and wandered away and all this crazy stuff. So you got to pay attention, people. You got to pay attention. So, and Eisenhower warned us about that, as we all know. So, on to the next subject. So this is a huge one. So again, with the victories and the winnings, and I told you how the good guys are winning, the bad guys are going down, Pedogate is going down. The biggest thing, again, everybody, I talk about this, the biggest thing is obviously the Pedogate thing. That is the big, hairy, hairball that you got to pull out to drain the full swamp. Draining the swamp is happening. The 500 CEOs resigning, to me, that's draining the swamp. There's a congressman that we're resigning, and a lot of, obviously, it's hard to do, which, by the way, we'll add on to that later, that we need to add term limits to that, like we've all been talking about, so we got to step up the process and all that. But, so here's the new big thing coming up with this past week, and of course, the queue is getting queued in. You got to get queued by everybody. So you just look up Q. I don't know how you would maybe find it. Q investigation or Q reports. He's also known as Anon Q or QAnon. You could find him like that in that kind of array of sorts. And so the big thing, here's the next new step, is Gitmo. There's big things going on with Gitmo right now. We don't even have that many people right now. If we look over there, how many people are there? Like 45, 50 or something like that. And they just signed a $500 million deal for Gitmo. And part of it is building a new hospital. And guess how many rooms that hospital only has? 5. Very interesting thing. I'll connect the dots here in a moment. But the $500 million deal is a huge amount of money for for the Gitmo that we barely use. I mean, 45 people. I mean, you compare that to the prison industrial complex here in the mainland, is a completely different story. It's no contest. But anyway, of course you have to understand that, you know, the way the laws work. That's the reason why that's why we still have the Gitmo. Otherwise, we would have gotten rid of it a long time ago. So, anyway, 5 patient rooms here in Gitmo. And, you know, we have 45 or so people there. But here's the thing. Here's where I'm about to make all the sense. And here's where you guys come in and we could all figure things out. But here's what we got. We got Hillary Clinton. We got McCain. We got all these muckety-mucks, scummy people. They're all on house arrest. They're all got the ankle bracelets, the prison ankle bracelets under house arrest, whatever it's called. And they're all got that there. And they're all the clues are pointing. All the clues are pointing that they're all going to Gitmo. So it's a very interesting pattern of scenarios that has occurred these past, you know, this whole thing is crazy. But what do you expect? And you gotta find it all funny because look at all this stuff. I mean, you know, it is what it is. But this is great news. If they're getting all these guys and bringing them over to, if we gotta bring all these people over to Gitmo to figure some things out, then hey, who am I to judge? Because this is what it's looking like. See, but you put those 3 dots together. The executive order on December 21st by Donny Boy, the 500 CEOs resigning, and then the new operation in Gitmo, including the ankle bracelet prison, you know, the house arrest thing going on with all these people. You notice how Clinton's got the boot, and it was on her left one, and there was on her right, and everybody's trying to do this and all that. It's too obvious. It's too obvious. So that's fantastic. So that's that. And there's plenty more to do that. So that's pretty much, I mean, that's like the crux of the whole thing. I mean, that's a pretty big deal, all of that. So we're going to continue off. I mean, these next few weeks should be pretty interesting. We'll see how things go. You know, keep it up. Do what you got to do. Be smart about it. But this is how it goes. So that's the big news update there. Now, let's talk about the distractions, the diversions. Let's go ahead and say, first of all, there may be a conspiracy. It might be a real thing. Actually, it looks like it's confirmed. It is like a... Well, it looks like we got a caller over here. Hold on. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, Totally Tim. What's going on?
Hey, what's happening? Is this Geezy's news?
That's right. That's right. Well, Totally Tim, it's been a while. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, my man. Fantastic.
Good.
What's the topic? I've not been listening.
Oh, that's fine. Well, we've been talking about a whole lot of things. I mean, first of all, I mean the biggest data point.
Wait, who's on the line? Introduce me.
Huh?
Who's on the line?
You are.
Oh, just me? Alright.
Yeah, so what's going on is that I just covered the December 21st executive order of Donny Boy, and then these 3 main data points are very important. So the first one is that December 21st, Donny Boy wrote an executive order combating against pedophilia and corruption and all this important stuff. Is a big deal. The second is that 3 days after the fact, 500 CEOs resigned, including Eric Schmidt, the CEO of Google, which is a huge, huge deal, if you understand the impact of all that. And then the third is the Gitmo operations that are going on, adding on to the ankle bracelets, you know, because Hillary Clinton and McCain are under house arrest, and all these people are in cahoots. And not to mention the Uma Abedin and all that stuff is surfacing up. And then I finished all that up, and I was about to segment into the distractions. So if you got any comments or questions about any of that, feel free.
What do you mean distractions?
Well, so the distractions, let me tell you about the distractions. It's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. The distractions are a few things, a few certain components. First of all, I want to tell all the pot stoners that the Jeff Sessions ordeal is just a distraction. Okay, he's saying how he's going to ban marijuana and legalize marijuana and all this. Don't mind any of this. This is just a distraction. This is just this is how a grandmaster chess player plays a chess game. You distract him, and then you write the executive order. That's that's exactly what happened. So none of this marijuana stuff is calm down. Okay, the 30 states that already have legal recreation, it's okay. He's not gonna go and steal your bong and your tobacco water device and what have you. And so that's a distraction. And then the second distraction is the Steve Bannon ordeal, and that they're saying that he's like, you know, in cahoots with them, and that he's you know, gonna write a book, or he's gonna talk. He's saying that now Steve Bannon is attacking. They're both attacking each other, and that is just a very smart tactical move for another distraction. It's just a divergence that doesn't. It's to control the news for what they want to talk about, and then the real action happens behind the scenes. So those are pretty much the two main distractions. And then the third one, there's a confirmation, and actually I'll post this source. Post this source that apparently they're building some kind of and Obama's in cahoots with that, apparently, is that they're building some kind of secret tunnels under Taiwan or something. But that's a whole different other thing, and that's something.
Oh, wait, what? They're building tunnels?
Yeah, you know, it's just. I haven't confirmed it, but I did post the source, and you know, all the sources are right there. So there you have it. So that's the distractions for the most part. You know, I try to do my best like everybody else. And anyway, so what do you think, correspondent Totally Tim?
Dude, that's too much to talk about, man.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why I said it's all segments. It all takes one step at a time. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know, man. Hold on. I guess one thing. Well, what do you think of all the changes to the workforce that's been going on? You know, they made sick time mandatory, right?
Oh, I actually am not aware of that at all. And what's wrong with that? What's the problem?
No problem there. I just think it's pretty funny that well, I mean, it basically makes people that are making minimum wage get holiday pay.
Get what?
Holidays and sick time and paid time off and shit like that.
Is that a bad thing?
No, it's not. Every 40 hours you work,
you
get an extra. You get an hour of vacation. The greatest thing about it is I already have vacation and holiday pay and all that stuff, and so it's just an extra vacation holiday pay day thing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, anyways, there's been some changes going on.
So that sounds great, right?
Yeah, it's great. Because
nice.
People that are working 50 hours a week for minimum wage actually get sick time.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm really glad that you mentioned this, because actually I have a point to make about that. Is that recently this is a known fact. I mean, most people would know this. Is that America is actually the most sleep deprived country in the modern world. That's a known fact that hasn't been disputed, and the reason why is because of what you said. Is because we have, obviously we have different laws, and we help all these countries. Speaking of which, I got another thing to say about the UN and about the great thing, but so yeah, that's a good thing that they're adding hours and all that. It's one step at a time, but this is a really good move. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, and it just goes to show, go Trump. Fuck yes. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
And actually trying to do shit for the people that are, working their asses off. Basically, he's saying, if you don't work, you don't get shit. But if you work, we're going to give you a little bit more than what you've been getting.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
I agree. And that's exactly what's happening. And I don't know if you know much about the tax reform plan, but that's great. That's been a huge success. And if you do the calculations, you make a lot of money. And actually, I have another caller on the line. So, would you like to stay tuned? Would you like to combine the calls?
You're going to hang up on me?
Would you like to combine the calls?
Yeah, combine.
Alright, here it goes. Hello, caller, how are you doing?
What, man?
Hey, what's going on? Here, we're gonna combine the calls with my correspondent, Mr. Totally Tim.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, caller, how may I help you? Do you have any questions or speak your mind, or what do you got?
How many viewers do you have?
I'm not sure. You'd have to talk to my technical engineers about that.
It's Sean. Oh, hi. I said hi. Hello? Hello?
This is Geezy from Geezy Truth News, yes?
Wait, say it one more time?
This is Geezy. You called Geezy Truth News.
And Totally Tim.
And correspondent, Mr. Totally Tim.
Oh.
How many, do you have any questions, or this is a political talk show? Do you have any questions, or would you like to speak your mind?
That don't really work. No, I'm kidding. Counting calories don't work.
Who is this?
It's Katie.
Oh, Katie, well, how can we help you? You got any questions?
No.
Well, if you don't got any questions, why would you call?
Oh, hold on. I'm working here.
Or maybe you got some thoughts to speak?
Oh, he's trying to find your show or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, you just type in Geezy Truth News on YouTube.
Geezy Truth News.
But we have an addition to that. We're actually trying to get off the platform of YouTube. I have an associate of mine that actually informed me of a new platform called Gab. So we most likely will be moving the show over to Gab.
Oh, hold on.
Hold on, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting another call. I mean, are you guys done, or do you have a...
He said, what is it?
Geezy Truth News. Oh, we got another call on the line. Hold on, let's see what's going on. Yes, this is Geezy Truth News.
Hi there, how you doing today?
Fantastic, how are you doing?
I'm just doing fine. I'm doing fine. I've been listening to you for quite some time now, and I'm a first-time caller.
All right, that's fantastic. Well, how may I help you? You got any questions or thoughts, or what do you think?
I do. I have somewhat of a personal question that I figured I might ask you for some advice on.
A personal question?
Yeah, it's somewhat political in this day and age, and I figured you might have some insight for me.
All right, sure. I mean, let's hear it.
Well, now, this all started a couple of years ago, but I woke up one morning and I found that I wasn't feeling like I was myself. I was born a white male, but increasingly wanted to become a black female, and so I talked to my therapist, who then advised me to start taking these hormones, and so I've been taking hormone blockers, and I've been dyeing my skin black almost every day for about 2.5 years now. And as you can tell, my voice has become a little bit more effeminate, and I've been going to speech therapy classes to achieve a more feminine voice. And I am getting a lot of flack at the office. I'm getting a lot of pushback from the guys at the gym, and I was just wondering if you had some advice for me on how to deal with the day-to-day hassles of being a black woman.
Well, very simple. You have to, you want the short answer or the long answer?
I would like the short answer.
Alright, well the short answer is very simple. All you need to do, caller, is practice fearlessness. This is my best advice for everybody. And that's exactly, excuse me, that's exactly what you're showing by going through what you're doing. And congratulations on the achievement and the achievements that you're continuing and doing. And what you have to do is
Thank you so much. I'm getting some breast implants on Monday, and I'm going through with the transition surgery, which actually means I'm going to be cutting off my male genitals and will be receiving a vagina, and hopefully in the near future I'll actually be receiving a uterus. And due to this new technology that now exists, I have the foresight to freeze some of my sperm so that when I want to become a mother, I will then be able to inseminate myself with my own sperm and give birth to my own child. I will be its father and its mother.
Wow, has that ever happened before in history?
No, I will be the first one to do that.
Well, that's very exciting. I mean, would you like to reveal your name so maybe we'll know who you are to keep in contact?
Certainly, yes. My name is Aquila Bolden. I am a Colorado resident, and I'm prominent on social media. You can find me at Aquila Bolden on Twitter.com. I've been talking to National Geographic, CNN, Vice News, and everybody's been very supportive with my transition. And although my family has known me, I've been losing jobs left and right. I get groped at the gym. With all of that being said, I couldn't be any more happier to be a black woman. And I would advise anybody who is considering taking the leap to do so. And your advice has just been so supportive.
Well, thank you very much. And if you can post your information on the Geezy Truth News live chat, that in the chat afterwards, that'd be great. So we can all follow the updates. And like I said, my best advice, and I give this advice to everybody, and I practice what I preach, is practice fearlessness. And you've already showed that by going through what you're going through. So I congratulate you on that. And just keep going. Just keep practicing fearlessness.
Thank you so much, Geezy. Do you think you could blow me a kiss before I hang up?
I don't know if the technical engineers have figured that one out yet, but no problem.
Thank you so much. That is such a sweet gesture, and I absolutely adore you. I love you, and you have a great day.
All right. Thank you very much. You too. Thanks for the call. Well, anyways, now that we've talked about the distractions and the main components of the main 3 data points that have happened, I appreciate the phone calls. That was very good. And let's see what else we got. So we got through the distractions of the Attorney General Jeff Sessions, the Steve Bannon thing. I mean, these are all you'd practically call them hoaxes. I mean, they're just distractions and divergences. So there's nothing to worry about here. People who are worrying about the Jeff Sessions thing with the pot ordeal, no big deal. The people worrying about the Steve Bannon thing, thinking he's like some kind of psyop, no problem. That's nothing. You have to be smart to realize that these people are all playing a chess game, which includes showing to the media that you're not as susceptible to showing the evidence that you're willing to play out. So you have to play the game, so to speak. So like for example of the Donald Trump talking with the United Nations of bringing, this is actually a great thing that I've been meaning to mention, of the Jerusalem, from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, moving the embassy. This is actually fantastic. People who are wondering what's going on here, this is going to cause a war, this is going to do this. First of all, like we mentioned previously on the show, that unfortunately that we are going to go through the North Korean thing, and that's because it's cabal controlled, and we'll talk about all that later. But bottom line is that the thing is great. The Donald Trump, we're doing good, we're winning. That's how it goes. So On to it's really good stuff. We're winning over here, trust me, guys. So a lot of new information. So the thing is about the United Nations thing is that, see, again, you have to understand from the tactician's point of view here. You have to understand that what happened was that when Donny Boy announced that we're going to move the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, this was not executed. But you know what happened? The UN freaked out. They freaked out, and all these countries said, a lot of the countries, including Pakistan, I'm sure that's been on the news, and that's what's going on. And so this is one of the smartest things I've ever seen Donny Boy do, because what he did was, with words, convince them that he was going to do something, and then all these nations backlashed. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Now we don't have to pay for all these countries. Guess what? We're getting all those millions and millions and billions of dollars back because we don't have to take care of these countries anymore. And this is the execution that I was expecting Donny Boy to take, because now we're getting a lot of money. We're getting a lot of money flow back into the country, and that's exactly what he's been saying. Make America great again. Make America employees again. Make all this, all that, all that. Yeah. Okay. So we got another thing. The main topic, the next segment, net neutrality. So this is a great thing. Don't get sucked up by the propaganda of them saying that net neutrality, taking out the net neutrality was horrible. Actually, this was great, because let me break it down here. Just listen to me, and then give me a call, see what you have to say. Here's the thing. So now that we got all the money coming back flow, it's all a process, but we're getting all the money back flow through the UN. Now, with the net neutrality double N thing, the double N, here's what's going down here. What happened is that it's propaganda that they're saying that net neutrality is great because it keeps everybody afloat and it's all one track system. That's not what it is. What is the real situation is that you have us. We have employees and employers with internet service, and then you have Google, and you have all this spyware CIA technology, and Google has no limit. It takes control and looks through all this stuff. And so that's the dealio, Bob, there. So when you get rid of net neutrality, then it reveals what Google's doing. So this is actually one of the smartest steps that Donny Boy could have done, is that by getting rid of net neutrality, if you read the fine print, read the net neutrality rules, is that when you get rid of net neutrality, the unknown becomes known. The Google secrets become revealed. As opposed to net neutrality, where when you had the net neutrality, everybody was on the same page. It was all one track, so nobody had nothing. There's nobody to verify. There's nobody to check. Now, with getting rid of net neutrality, now you can start doing the checks and balances. Now you can start checking what's going on. So that's what's up on the double N. So the double N, the UN, all these other dots that we've previously mentioned on the show and earlier on the show. And so that's about it, folks. I mean, it's never ending, We're going to have to just blow through the rest of this show because it looks like we're running out of time, folks. But what's going on? So, first of all, says, we got to know about this. It says America's dirty little secret: 40 million people are suffering from hunger. So there you have it. And you talk about the unemployment rates. You talk about the homeless rates. These rates, these statistics are falsified. They're falsified just like every other statistic falsified that benefits the globalist agenda. And so that's what the deal is. So when you look at things like that, this is a true thing. You got 42 million people are suffering from hunger, and yet we're giving billions of dollars to countries that we're not even allies with. Now, let me ask you this, as an American citizen to another American citizen, does that make sense? Why are we doing that? Why are veterans on the streets? Why are American people on the streets? Why are we having all these homeless people and all these hungry people, 42 million people, and we're not doing a damn thing about it, yet we're giving billions and billions of dollars to all these random countries that most of them are not even our allies. Now tell me, how is that fair and just? Where's the justice there? How does that make any sense? I'll wrap that up, and I'll add that viewpoint. I'll add that article to the show if I can. So there you go. I mean, we got a lot of stuff. We got people working on the phone lines. We got people working everywhere on the computers, on the. It's amazing. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate everybody for helping and doing everybody's working so hard to manage everything here. So I want to appreciate everybody there. And thank you for the callers. Looks like our phone lines are up. Our technical engineers are saying that we may have some problems. So, and again with global warming, I mean, here's another thing. Bam! This is the January 1st of 2018, officially a record. Storm tops blizzard of 1978 for high tide. So there you go. I mean, I don't know where the global warming is, or the climate change, or whatever new fancy word they got for this week's new program, but there you have it, folks. So I updated all that. Now, let's see. We're running out of time here, folks. Let's see. Oh, big thing, Intel. I'd like to talk about all the stock market and cryptos and stuff too later, but it's like, we just don't have enough time here, folks. And so, big thing about Intel, all of their most recent products. Does it say since before what year? Since 1995. Since 1995. Here, let me upload this as well. So, critical flaws revealed to affect most Intel chips since 1995. That's the headline. I don't even know why they wouldn't mention the viruses. But we have. It's unfortunate for all Intel users. I hate to break it to y'all that you've all been compromised. And that's how it happens. There's the znet.com website for the source of that. And of course, you could look at all this stuff up on your own and figure things out. That's the whole point. So, common sense. Another article says, a new study finds marijuana safer than alcohol or tobacco. We've all known this for years. Again, for the pot stoners, don't worry about Jeff Sessions and causing all this. There's plenty of evidence. I mean, there's certain methods of marijuana that is curing cancers. There's testimonials of people with cancer that did these certain marijuana, certain like herbal methods. I tried to read a few of them called Rick Simpson is the most that I'm more familiar with, and that's what that is. So people are winning there, and so there you have it, everybody. And then all the rest of the news is just junk. That's how it goes, and it looks like we're winning. We're winning, folks. So there you have it. Thank you very much for a great show. I think we did wonderful. Stock market, Donnie Boy will talk about how great the stock market is. That's the one flaw he's got. He doesn't understand that it's all inflation through deflation, and that it's all Keynesian economics through cycles and waves, and it's all just bull sneezy. And that's the sad reality. But hey, what works so far for now. Keep it up. Just do your thing. So, for that, I think we're going to wrap things up here. So, everybody, thank you very much for a great show. Keep in touch. Keep doing your research. Stay happy. Do what you gotta do. Stay hungry. Stay foolish. All the great things. And to that, I salute.